Hello everyone. In this video we'll be covering the subtopic of naming of alkyl halides. Now the rules that we covered in a previous video of naming of alkenes remain the same. You have to first look out for the longest carbon chain, then you have to identify the substituents, number the substituents, and then name the compound accordingly. Now there are some changes due to the fact that we are dealing with alkyl halides, which are halogenoalkenes, meaning that halogens must be in the compound. We have to identify the fact that if we have fluorine in a compound, in the name it will act as fluoro. If we have chlorine, it will show as chloro. If we have bromine, it will show as bromo. And if we have iodine, it will show as iodo. So you have to keep these in mind. Now let's start off with the first one. The longest carbon chain for the first one is definitely 4 carbons, and we can see them like this. We have one substituent, a chloro substituent, and the name of this compound would be 2-chlorobutane, simply because we have 4 carbons, therefore we have butane. We have a chloro substituent on the second carbon, and so this is the official name. Keep this in mind. Now let's look at the second one. The longest carbon chain is 5 carbons, and we have a fluoro substituent and we have a methyl substituent. So now the naming of this compound we must note. It will be 3-fluoro 2-methyl pentane. Now let's go through this name that we've given. 3-fluoro because fluorine is on the third carbon, 2-methyl because the methyl group is on the second carbon, and pentane because it is a 5 carbon long chain. But why is 3-fluoro before 2-methyl and why is 2-methyl not first? Because simply of the fact that fluoro has F and methyl has M, and F comes before M. Therefore, alphabetically fluoro should come first. So keep that in mind. Now let's look at the next question. The longest carbon chain would be this, 6 carbons. Now what substituents do we have? We have bromo substituents and we have methyl substituents, right? Now let's name this compound. 3,4-dibromo 3,4-dimethyl hexane. Now let's look at why exactly this is the name. Okay, so we have 3,4-dibromo simply because on the third and the fourth carbon we have bromine substituents, and we have 3,4-dimethyl because on the third and the fourth carbon we have methyl substituents, and hexane simply because 6 carbons is the longest carbon chain. Now again, dibromo is before dimethyl because B comes before M, simply speaking. Now let's look at the next example. Let's number it first. The longest carbon chain would be 7 carbons, and we have an iodine substituent and an ethyl substituent. Now let's name this compound. We have 3-ethyl, 3-iodo heptane. Again, why exactly is this the name? On the third carbon we have the ethyl group, and on the third carbon we have the iodo substituent. and heptane is because there are 7 carbons, so that is the prefix. Why is the ethyl before the iodo? Simply because E comes before I, and that is it. Now let's look at slightly more complicated examples. Okay, now in this one, let's number. We could number from this side, and we could also number from this side. As we've studied in the previous naming of alkanes video, you can number from the left or the right side, depending which gives you a smaller number for your substituents. So if you look at it, doing it from the left side will give you the substituents on 3, 3, 5, 5, and doing it from the right side, the substituents would be on 2, 2, 4, 4. So simply this is the smaller number. So now let's name this compound. The name of the compound would be 4,4-dichloro 2,2-dimethyl hexane. Now why exactly is this the name? Let's look at it. On the 2 4s of the carbon atoms, we have 2 chlorine substituents, and on the second carbon atom we have 2 methyl groups, and hexane is there because there are 6 carbons in the longest chain. Chloro is before methyl because C comes before M, simply put. Now the next example. Over here we can count like this, right? Simply enough. We have 3 chlorine substituents on the first carbon. So the name of this compound is quite simple, 1,1,1 trichlorobutane. Why exactly is this the name? On the first carbon of the chain we have 3 chlorines, so 1,1,1 trichloro, and butane because there are 4 carbons in the longest carbon chain. Now what if we go reverse? What if the name is given to us and we have to draw the structure? Now let's look at this. 2-iodo-octane. What does this mean? It means that the longest carbon chain must be of 8 carbons, and it means that the second carbon must have an iodine. So now let's put it. Let's put 8 carbons, and the second carbon, either from the left or the right side, I'll draw it from the right side, must have an iodine. And now just fill in the hydrogens. Okay, so now let's just fill in the hydrogens. And this is as simple as it is, and this is how we would do it, right? Now 4-bromo 3,3-diethylheptane. Now first of all, look at what the longest carbon chain is. Look at that. It is 7 carbons. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The fourth carbon has a bromine on it, so let's put that. And the third carbon has 2 ethyl groups on it, so CH2, CH3, CH2, CH3. And now let's just fill in the hydrogens. That's as simple as it is. And that is it, right? Now the third one, 2-bromo 3-ethylhexane. 6 carbons in the longest carbon chain. So 6 carbons. Let's draw them. Okay, great. Now the second carbon must have a bromine substituent. So I'll draw it from the left. And the third carbon must have an ethyl substituent. And now just fill in the hydrogens. And that is it. And that is it for the naming of alkyl halides. And that is it for this video. Thank you.